Hello everyone. Welcome back to the channel. Miss Coffee here, and today we are doing a whip and chat. So WIP stands for work in progress, so get out whatever that is for you. Work along with me as I tell you some stories from the coffee house shenanigans. Now, I hope everyone had a wonderful weekend. Hopefully you had a great Memorial Day. You got to cook out with the family, and it was just an overall good day for you. Now, you're probably noticing, let's get the elephant out of the room, that I don't have nails on. This doesn't happen often, but this week you will notice I won't have nails on. I'm giving my nails a break as they went through a traumatic event yesterday, and we're going to talk about it because I'm traumatized from this, okay? So, where do I even start? So let's start with Friday. Friday was our last live stream here on YouTube. So from now on, T-Mall will be taking the 9 o'clock spot, and I will be live over on Twitch. The only reason why I keep repeating it, because there's a lot of people who apparently are missing the announcement. So I just want to make sure everybody's clear and nobody comes looking for me on YouTube on Friday. I will not be live on YouTube on Friday. I'm going to say starting at 8 p.m. I'm going to be live over on Twitch. I might be live a little bit earlier than that. And of course, I put out announcements when I go live over there. So, I will not be live here on YouTube. And I have to say I'm super excited about this transition, so I hope you guys are as well. Of course, I can't make everyone happy, but I have to do what's best for me in this moment, and right now, that's me going over to Twitch for that. So live streams will no longer be here on YouTube unless you're on Patreon, and then of course we do our VIP lives here on YouTube. But other than that, the coffee house has been doing great. Now, where do we start? So I ordered a new gaming computer for my streams over on Twitch because my computer, Kiona, you're a potato. My computer has been acting a little weird lately whenever I play games. So like I would go to play The Sims, and anytime I would go into build mode, my computer would go into potato mode, and it just would lag uncontrollably to the point where I would have to quit the game. And there's no refreshing on the system that I use to broadcast from. So I'm like, well, great. So I'm like, okay, all right. I am going to just order a new computer. Now, I took my Twitch monies and I ordered a new gaming computer that's something like Orion's, but it's not as heavy as Orion's. Like it doesn't do as much as Orion's, and I don't need it to because I play Sims and cozy games. I don't play like Fortnite and stuff. So I found one I really liked. I was like, I'm going to order it. All right. I wait a week. It gets in. I'm super excited. Now, take it. I'm not the most tech savvy person on the planet, okay? I am no Steve Jobs. I am no, like, whoever else is good at computers. I'm decent at computers, but not like a wizard at computers, okay? So I'm sitting here, and I order the computer. It comes in, and I'm super excited. I go to take and hook it up, and I plug it into the wall. I plug it into the system. I plug it up because it has RGB lights on it. I'm not going to lie. It has RGB lights on it, and I honestly just wanted to see the rainbow lights. Mr. Coffee was going to have to like legitimately set it up. But I wanted to see the rainbow lights because I'm simple. So I went to go turn it on, and it wouldn't turn on. And I was like, oh, okay. Maybe this is something that Mr. Coffee has to look at. So I messaged Mr. Coffee. Now, let me just say, I wasn't expecting him to come home from work to set it up. But in my brain, irrationally, I was expecting him to come home and set it up, okay? Because when I get super excited about something, of course, I'm impatient like a child, and I don't want to wait. So I was like, you know what? Patience is going to be the best thing in this situation. Just wait for him to get home, or you're going to mess it up. So I was like, okay, I'm just going to leave it alone. Wait till he gets home. He got home a little bit earlier that day, and I was super excited because all week that week, he had been getting home a little later than usual, like 7:30, which is his old time that he used to get home. So I was like, you know, by the time live starts, you're, you know, gonna be whatever. So I'm sitting there, and I'm like, okay, here we go. He gets home, he sits down, I look at him funny, and I'm like, sir, what are you doing? He's like, what do you mean? I'm like, the computer. He goes, oh, yeah, that's right. You had a computer come in. So he comes back here. He grabs the computer. He plugs it up like I did. He tries to turn it on. And he goes, oh, well, maybe I need to do something like this. And I was like, oh, okay. So then he hooks it up to the monitor. He gets everything hooked up the way it's supposed to be hooked up. He goes to turn it on. Nothing. And he's like, that's weird. I was like, I just thought maybe I was supposed to just plug it up and turn it on. I didn't realize I was had to do like the whole setup. And he goes, you shouldn't have to. So he's looking at it and he's like, something's wrong. He goes, let me see if I can figure it out. So he starts tinkering with it. And I'm like, don't tinker around with it too much. And he goes, well, what does the website say? And I was like, the website says to plug it up and it's supposed to work. Like, it doesn't say I have to like do anything or go on any special quest to get it to work. It's supposed to just work. He's like, oh, okay, well, that's not helpful. So let me see. So I contact customer service. Customer service is going over like troubleshooting with us. And they finally determined that the computer itself is defective. And I'm like, of course it is. Of course it is. Why wouldn't I spend this much money on a computer for you to send me a broken computer? Why wouldn't I do that? Glorious. It's just glorious. So the guy goes, let me set you up a return. And I'm like, okay. He goes, okay, I set you up a return. You should get an email within 24 hours. And then you just are going to take the return label, put it on the box, and then have them pick it up or take it and drop it off. Now, if you remember, we don't have a UPS store here anymore. They took it out of town here 3 months ago. So in order to get something picked up by UPS, you have to have them come pick it up, like meaning go to their website and pay for them to pick it up now. So I'm like, okay, I'm not paying for that box to be shipped out of here. Like that's not happening. And they were like, well, let me see what I can do. Can you just take it to a store? I'm like, the nearest store is 2 hours away. I'm not doing that. I should have just did that. So the guy goes, okay, let me check to see what our other options are. So I was like, all right, because yeah, I don't want to drive 2 hours just to return a computer, 4 hours round trip in a car with children, and that doesn't seem enjoyable to me. Now Mr. Coffee lets me know that we probably could have done that and made a day out of it, but I'm like, it's the way you hate me. So I was like, yeah, you're gonna have to schedule for them to come pick it up because I'm not paying for your mistake. Like, you made the mistake. It's only fair that you schedule it to be picked up. So they said fine. So they schedule it to be picked up. The guy goes, wait for the email in 24 hours. I was like, all right, now this was last Thursday, I believe. Or Friday. It was Friday. Because in Friday Night Live, I mentioned that the computer came and it was defective and I have to send it back. Well, I waited for that email and waited and waited and waited and nothing came. And I was like, okay, so this guy's dicking me around. Let me go ahead and call back. So I called back this morning, stayed online, waiting for somebody to... I'm starting to wonder if customer service really isn't as busy as they claim they are, but they have you wait online just to see if you can resolve the problem yourself or just because they don't want to talk to you. Because I waited on hold for 21 minutes and nobody answered the phone. I'm like, you're not that busy. Like, I know there's no way you're that busy. So the lady answered the phone finally and she's like, hi, thank you for calling Best Buy. Can I help you? And I was like, hi. So, and I explained the situation to her. Now, I have the transcript because I was smart. I requested the entire transcript from when I talked to the guy previously, right? Oh, which, by the way, I'm rude. I hope you guys had a great weekend. I'm working on Ravenclaw from Diamond Art Club. This week, Diamond Art Club is coming out with 40 new releases, so you guys got a surprise sneak peek on Monday. So your sneak peek this week was on Monday, not on Friday. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the sneak peek. If you did not see it, I will have it up in the iCards up there, so where you guys check it out. So yeah, there it is. Checking to make sure I didn't miss any. I'm sure I did, but we'll come back to it if we did. So I was like, I'm explaining the situation to her, and I'm like, I have the case number, I have the transcript, so that, I know exactly what was supposed to happen, and it didn't happen. She goes, okay, well, let me check some things over here on my side. So she checks, and she sees the conversation that I had with the guy, and she goes, okay, did they not schedule it for a pickup? And I'm like, well, you know what's funny? The UPS guy is here now. I ordered every summer I buy the kids one new summer toy. It's not really a toy, but something for them to use in the summer. Last year, I believe it was skates. This year it is scooters. So the kids had like some little cheap Walmart scooters because they were little and they liked scooters. Now they have big kid scooters. I just spent $60 on scooters. So I got them scooters, and they just happened to arrive right when I was on the phone with Best Buy. And I looked at the UPS guy. He's a really cool guy. And I was like, hey, question. He's the same guy that Killian chased after the other day. Oh, snap. I think I left the dogs in the cages. Okay, hold on a second. I did leave the dogs in the cages. So I got them out. Don't worry. They're out now. So I tell you, it's been a crazy morning, okay? So I'm sitting there, and I'm like, okay. I see the UPS guy, and I go, hi, do you happen to have a pickup for me for the computer you dropped off the other day? And he goes, let me check. I actually do have a pickup, but I'm not sure if it's yours. He checks, and he goes, no, unfortunately, I don't have a pickup for you. He goes, did they request a pickup? And I'm like, well, because everything is UPS, and he goes, yeah, I know. He goes, can I come back tomorrow? And if they haven't given you a return slip, I will just do a return to sender. And I was like, yes, please. So he's like, okay, I'll make sure to come back tomorrow. He writes a note on his little keypad thing that they carry around. He's just like, do. So I was like, okay, awesome. So I go back on the phone with Best Buy, and I'm like, because I never hung up with them. I was still on the phone with them. And I was like, yes. So my UPS guy has no scheduled pickup for me today, which means that the guy did not have my item scheduled for pickup. And lady goes, okay, let me check. She goes, oh, they declined it. And I'm like, what the hell do you mean they declined it? She goes, they decline anything that's under 40 pounds. Y'all, this is an entire gigantic in-game computer. This thing has to weigh at least 50 pounds, okay? Which is the reason I didn't want to send it back, because the way they charge you for stuff like that. So I was like, no ma'am, okay? No ma'am. Okay, sorry. I wanted to go weigh it. It weighs exactly 44 pounds, okay? And they said because it weighed less than 40 pounds, they canceled the pickup. And I'm like, excuse me? That thing has to weigh at least 50 or 60 pounds, like, or something like that. Like, come on. Now take it. I just weighed it. It literally is 44 pounds. So I was like, why didn't they tell me that? Like, why am I just now finding this information out? And she goes, I'm not sure. She goes, they were supposed to call you to let you know this. And I'm like, nobody's called me all morning, all weekend, to be confessed. Unless you were my dad, nobody called me. So I'm sitting there, and I'm like, okay. So I'm sitting there, and I'm like, well, what do we do now? Because I need this thing picked up. And until it's picked up, I can't get a replacement. Now, I'm half tempted to have Mr. Coffee get off work early tonight and just go shoot the 2 hours down to Minot. The problem is he has to work tomorrow, and that's not going to be good for him. So I'm like, no, we're not going to do that. So, because I thought about then maybe taking a road trip by myself with just the kids. And I'm like, I don't want to get lost. So I've never been outside of Williston by myself, minus the time I went to Sydney, Montana. And that's only like a 45-minute drive, and I was in the wrong direction anyways. So I'm sitting there and I'm like, yeah, we're going to have to figure something about this out. Because people from Montana would come to our UPS because they didn't have one. And take it, that's a 45-minute drive just to drop something off at UPS, okay? So I'm like, yeah, they're going to have to figure out something because I'm not paying for you guys' mistake. You made the mistake. You're going to come pick this up. And the lady goes, calm down, ma'am. She goes, I understand you're upset. She goes, we are going to figure this out. So she contacts whoever. She's a little typey type. And I give mad props to people that can do customer service calmly, because the way some people be calling in, now take it, I wasn't acting a whole ass. Matter of fact, I can't even really act a whole ass because the way my asthma is set up, the way I get angry and I try to talk, it's like one of those kids that starts crying and they're like, except for it's because I can't breathe and I'm just like, you would have thought I ran a marathon, okay? So I was like, I don't want to have to pay to send this back. I just want to send it back and get a replacement. The problem is they won't replace it until they have it in hand, okay? Until they have it in hand, they won't replace it. So I was like, of course not. So I was like, okay, here we go. You are going to set up a replacement for me, correct? And she's like, yes. So I'm looking at it now. She goes, I submitted a new order to have it picked up. Magically, when she submitted the order, they accepted it. They denied it the first time and then accepted it the second time. Make it make sense. Make it make sense. So I was like, okay, so what now? She goes, look out for that email within 24 hours. So by this time tomorrow, if you do not have that email, I will be calling you 5 minutes from the time that you called. So like 11:30. And she goes, so we can figure out another option. And I'm like, what are my other options? Because unless you're paying for this, I'm not paying to have this sent out. So I'm sitting there and I'm like, okay. All right. Now, she has everything set up and she's like, okay, I'm going to go ahead and set this up. And again, if they, for some reason, deny it or whatever, even though they've already accepted it, if anything happens where you don't get that email or something goes wrong, I will call you back tomorrow. And I'm like, okay. She takes my number. And I felt good. I felt like she actually was doing her job, unlike the guy that I talked to on Friday, who just seemed like he was trying to get me off the phone because it was almost time for him to get off work. Okay? And I get it. You want to get off work and people are calling you, agitating you. But if you don't like that you have this job and you have to work to this time, you're going to need to find a new job. Because you're just creating even more angrier customers. It's a chain reaction. You rush them off the phone without doing your job, and then they have to take out the anger on somebody else, which you don't care because it's not your problem because you got rid of me because you wanted to go home. So, I can't sometimes. I just can't. Either way. So we got that figured out, and I was like, okay. Now, Maggie's been having some mouth pain because of her teeth. Now, I can't tell if it's the teeth coming in. Mr. Coffee says she has cavities. I don't see any cavities. And I'm like, okay, either way, it's been about a year or two since they've been to the dentist. I want to say it's been 2 years. Because last year we missed because their dentist moved and no other dentist was taking our insurance and we didn't want to pay out of pocket, arm and a leg. So we skipped 2 years and we're like, okay, we should probably get them back into the dentist now. The problem is that nobody in town takes our insurance except for one place. One place takes our insurance. This is just the stuff that I did today, by the way. Nobody in town takes our insurance, so I had to go with someone that doesn't take our insurance, and that we have to pay up front because they don't take our insurance. And the lady was like, well, you also had a bill go into collections. And I'm like, excuse me? Y'all, we had just moved and they sent a bill to our old place. And we didn't know because they hadn't forwarded that piece of mail to us. And I'm going to guess the residents at the new place hadn't told us at the time. So it was literally like right after we moved into the townhouse here. They didn't tell us. And then the bill went into collections. Once they called and asked us to pay it, we had paid it. But we let them know, hey, we moved and you guys sent the bill to the wrong address. So now they have us marked down in their computer system as must pay up front. I'm like, the fuck? I'm like, didn't the bill get paid though? And she's like, well, yeah, it got paid. And it looks like you had moved. And like, so it wasn't like we didn't pay you because we just didn't have the money or, we were escaping out on the bill. We did pay you. And she goes, oh yeah, you paid it. And I'm like, so why are you acting as if I'm going to run off with your services without paying them? And she's like, oh, well, this is what we do for all of our, folks that have stuff that go through collections. I'm like, you know what? Fair. I'll take it. Y'all, every dentist around here is only one of them is accepting new patients. And their soonest that they can get in for cleanings is September. Y'all, I don't know if y'all understand. It is May. It is the end of May. And my children have to wait until September to get seen. So I was like, okie dokie. So they're okay. So I was like, you know what? That's the soonest that anybody could get them in without me having to travel 4 hours to Bismarck to have them go to the dentist. And I'm like, because if there's ever a dental emergency, I'm not driving to Bismarck. I'm not. It's just not happening. And because more than likely I would have to do this on my own because Mr. Coffee is working, I'm not driving 4 hours to Bismarck by myself. That's an 8-hour drive both ways. No, thank you. No. So I was like, I will go with the place that says that I have to pay up front. That's what the Flex card is for. The Flex card, we put money on it every year for medical bills and like prescriptions and stuff. And so that's what that's for. And seeing as how the only person now in the house that takes prescriptions is Mr. Coffee because he has high blood pressure. Now, him having high blood pressure isn't the problem. That's not why I'm laughing. I'm laughing because everybody else thought that I would have high blood pressure. My blood pressure is gorgeous. It's fabulous. It is wonderful. It's out here having the time of its life. Mr. Coffee's over there with the high blood pressure. So he has to take high blood pressure meds, and I don't. And it's always been a big thing in our house because he was like, you gonna run up your blood pressure. And I'm like, no, I'm not. And then we went to the doctor. Boom, he has high blood pressure. Believe me, having high blood pressure is not funny. Just the fact that I don't have it for as angry as I get is what is the joke in my house. Anyways, so we got the kids' appointment for the dentist. I had to call and get that done today. And then after talking to Best Buy, after getting that situated, I was like, okay, I got to record videos. I got to do all this stuff. And the kids are going to want to go to the skate park today. I know they are. Which the skate park is right across the street from what? Dairy Queen. Look, listen, I'm broke, okay? I'm broke. I am not trying to go out here and spend money on ice cream and stuff, which I can. I did save money for ice cream. I did. I just don't want to go get it. I don't want to have to leave the house. The sad part is I need something to make for dinner. So I have to leave the house anyways. So I was like, well, shit. I also need to go to the P.O. box. So I'm like, well, shit. So, yeah. There's just lots going on today that I need to do. I've done none of it. Well, I've done most of it. I just got to go to Walmart and figure out what to make for dinner. And so yesterday was a busy day as well, which, okay, so we did Friday. We had our last live on YouTube. Then Saturday, I streamed over on Twitch. Everything went off without a hitch there, minus the fact that I hurt somebody's feelings, which, what else is new at this point? And then, I don't think I was too busy Saturday night. I don't remember. Saturday, I don't think anything major went on. Sunday, we get up, and the kids' friends come over, because the kids have made new friends. And their friends come over and ask, can they come outside? So both kids went outside. Mr. Coffee was like, hey, I'm doing stuff with my clan today. He has a Dungeons and Dragons clan thing that he does. And I'm like, oh, okay. Sure. And so I'm sitting there, and I'm like, I'm bored. Now, I was supposed to talk to, like, Jomio and Buck and them, and they hadn't messaged me yet, and it was like 1 o'clock, and I was like, oh, well, I'm bored. What do I do? I'm like, I think I'm gonna stream. Mr. Coffee's like, oh, okay. So I was like, okay, because like the kids are gone and he's busy, and I'm like, I'm bored. And it wasn't like the type of bored where I could just sit and do nothing. It was just I wanted to do something, but I was bored. So I was like, I'm just gonna stream, I guess. So I did a bonus live stream over on Twitch, and we did some doodles for the release papers from Crashly. And right now I'm working on doing pride doodles. So I did some pride doodles for the release papers on Twitch, and I was super excited because like I haven't been doing art a whole lot on Twitch. I've been so busy doing crafting stuff because I'm like, my mojo has been fully restored for my crafts. And so I've literally been doing all the things. I've been doing adult coloring again. I've been doing crocheting again. I've been diamond painting a lot more over there. And I'm like, well, shit. I almost forgot the fact that I was supposed to be over there doing mostly art. So we're kind of doing a hodgepodge of things over there right now, and I'm okay with it. So we were sitting there, and somebody, I don't remember who it was. Somebody brought up Oraloa and like cross stitching or something. And I was like, it's not that I don't know how to cross stitch. I do know how to cross stitch. The thing is, I don't particularly enjoy cross stitching. I don't know what it is. I just don't enjoy it. And then we went over there, and I was like, yeah, for those folks who don't know, because I believe Rachel Ray has one, because she unboxed one. I was like, you know, they do have counted cross stitch, which is the cross stitch ones with the pattern already printed on it, and you just follow the pattern, which would be nice for streaming, because then I don't have to count anything. So I was like, and I'm looking at the patterns. They have some really cute patterns. Some of them are diamond paintings as well. And I was like, these are super cute. And then I saw it. I saw it, y'all. This adorable, like, little deer fox looking thing. It's like teal or green or something. I saw it and I fell in love with it. And I was like, oh my God, look at that. It's a cute little fox doodle. And I've done cross stitching before. Usually I just do my own patterns. And so this will be like one of the first times that I found one that I liked, that I'm going to be like, oh, okay, well, I'll complete this one. And so I bought it. I got a tip. And so I bought it, and I was like, I'm not gonna lie, I'm super fucking excited for this cross stitch. It's just a little 40 by 40, so it's not super huge, which is great. Sorry, that's my watch. It's not super huge. And I'm like, dude, I can totally do this. Like, it's not huge. It has beautiful colors. It'll come with everything I need. I know the needles suck, but I actually have a different type of needle. I have the type of needle that you don't thread. It has like an opening at the top where you just kind of your thread down into it. So I don't necessarily need the needles. And so I was like, I am going to do this. We are going to be over here cross-stitching now. Now, a lot of these crafts and stuff I will be having to do offline, because literally I'm doing all the things. I literally have gotten my crafting mojo back. So I'm going to be doing all the things. And that should tell you enough about Twitch right there, is the fact that I've gotten mojo back for crafts that I haven't done in years. Crafts that I don't do often, but I did do them when I first started YouTube. And I was just like, yeah, I want to do all the things again. So I'm happy. I'm happy with where I am, like, mentally and everything, and I'm super excited about it, and I'm super excited for this guy thing on cross stitch to get here. It did ship yesterday, I want to say. Like, they put the shipping label on it, so it should ship out today. And so I should have it soon. I will be doing an unboxing of it. And so I'm like, I am super excited. So these whipping chats might turn into like cross stitching chats, maybe, possibly. Don't quote me on that. I'm just saying, because somebody might ask me to do one, and if they do, I might do one. Because I'm not sure why I stuck to only doing diamond painting on the stream so much. I do other things, but I think it's just mainly because most of the people that watch me diamond paint. So we might have to venture into, and I'm not saying that I'm going to be like a cross stitcher where I'm going to know like all the threads and fabrics and all that other stuff. No, probably not, to be honest, to be completely honest. If I find one that I happen to like, I'll work on it. It'll take me some time, but I'll work on it. So I was super excited to get that. And then they were talking about the latch hook that I had started. I never finished it, mostly because somebody asked me to finish it, and I didn't like the way that they talked to me when they asked me to finish it. It was like they were telling me to do it instead of asking me nicely to do it. And out of spite, I was like, yeah, no, I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. No, leave me alone. That, and I just didn't feel like doing it. I don't know why. I just didn't feel like doing it. Well, then, as we were talking about the thing, somebody mentioned about this cute little fox latch hook that they found. And I'm like, fox latch hook? What? Y'all, it was over on Amazon, and I was like, oh my god. Oh my god. Y'all, I had a coupon. So I got it for like $3. And I was like, and sold. Or I didn't have a coupon. I had a credit on my account from something that I purchased that I returned. And so I bought it. I was super excited. I was just like, this is mine now. So yeah, so there's lots of crafting. Lots and lots of crafting. So Sunday was eventful. And then there was yesterday. Yesterday was Memorial Day. And for some reason, I decided I was going to get brave now. I don't know what it is, but I woke up at 6 a.m. Monday. And I was like, you know, getting older, your body tends to wake you up at, you know, weird times. And I knew I could go back to sleep. So I just kind of laid there and I'm like, oh, I need to figure out what we're doing for dinner, because I want to do a traditional, like, Southern barbecue. I want the neighbors to look at us like, can I get a plate with a white mouth? Okay. So I was like, okay, what do I need? let's make stuff that I haven't made in a while. Because we were talking to the kids, and Maggie was asking what Southern things would I have for barbecues. And I was explaining like all the Southern foods that my parents used to make during like holidays like Memorial Day and stuff. And they're like, we should have a barbecue like that one day. And I'm like, you know what? You right. You right. We've never had a barbecue like that. So I was like, we're going to have a barbecue like that. Now, if you remember on Mother's Day, Mr. Coffee turned my rack of ribs into, I don't even know what the hell that was, charcoal bricks. And so he's been a little gun shy on the grill that we bought because he's made like hamburgers and hot dogs on it. But he went to go make the ribs and it just didn't turn out well in his favor. So he was just like, I don't want to use this thing anymore. So I was like, don't be scared of the grill. Like, what the hell? He goes, you use it. I'm like, no, that's man's work. Now take it. I do have some kind of old school values where there's certain things that I will not do. One of them being I will not grill. That is not something that I will do. If I had to, I would, but no, not really. Make sure I got all the fours. I know there's a couple right here on the side. We're gonna grab those real quick. Bam. Okay. We can change colors again. So, yeah. I'm also waiting on a kit from Sherry Baldy's company to come in for Pride Month. I'm holding out hope that it'll get here soon. According to somebody else who ordered from her, she did say something about she's just waiting for them to come in because now her diamond paintings are made to order instead of her hoarding them. So they're, as she called it, fresh. So it does take a little bit longer, which I'm okay with made to order kits. I get impatient. I get super excited when I order a kit, and I don't want to wait 4 weeks for it to get here. So, yeah. It's not that I've been waiting 4 weeks. It's literally been like a week and a half or 2 weeks or something like that. I don't think it's been hellaciously long, but it's been long enough that I forgot about it, and then somebody reminded me, and I was like, oh yeah, where's my goddamn kit? I want to do some Pride kits for Pride, but I don't think they're going to get here in time. I do have one kit that I can start. It's a smaller kit that will get me through until, I guess, the other one comes in. So, yeah. So I have wax coming out of my pencil, and that's when you need your teddy titties. Now, if you don't know what teddy titties are, it's a product that I just renamed it. I don't remember what the name of it was beforehand. But it's this little teddy bear. So it looks like a little gummy bear. And it helps you push the wax into your pen so you don't have to use your finger. And then you can just move off the excess wax, but it helps get the wax into your pen. So you use the little arms here, which look like the titties, and you just press it down on them, and then you smooth it out with its foot. It's really cute. It's from Kiona. So if you haven't visited Kiona's Creative Corner over on Etsy, she does the release papers with the vinyl. She does the minders with the wax holder, or not wax holder, the wax helpers. So yeah, if you haven't visited Kiona, go visit Kiona. Anyways, so I'm sitting there, and I was like, okay, it's 6 in the morning. I'm tired as hell. I know I can go back to sleep, but I need to figure out what stuff we need to have for dinner. We had talked the night before about having a traditional Southern barbecue. And Mr. Coffee, again, still a little gun shy. This man, by the way, kept trying to go to work, okay? He kept trying to go to work. So Sunday, he kept saying he couldn't do stuff Monday because he had to go to work. And I'm like, sir, it's a holiday. You don't have to go to work. And he's like, oh shit, I forgot about that. I'm like, yeah. Yo, that happened like 4 more times where he kept saying he couldn't do something Monday because he had to go to work. I'm like, sir, you do not have work. It's a holiday. So, and even if, it wasn't a holiday, he's salary now, so it doesn't matter when he goes into work because he's getting paid the same no matter what. So I'm sitting there, which by the way, Mr. Coffee is fully recovered from his injury of taking that, cheater bar to the face. The swelling and everything's gone down. He's not experiencing any issues. He is still experiencing, acid reflux issues. Like he was tearing up some macaroni yesterday, and it wasn't greasy, but it had a little bit of grease to it because it does have cheese in it. And for some reason, that tore up his stomach. I'm starting to wonder if he's lactose intolerant, to be honest. So I was like, okay, we're going to do a mini barbecue, like a mini Southern barbecue, because my kids have never been down South and they've never experienced this. And we've always been too broke to be able to travel and go down South or have vacations like normal people. So, like, my kids don't experience everything like everybody else does. Maybe one day, but right now we can't. So I see a number 4. So I was like, okay. So I was like, I'm going to make some baked mac and cheese. I'm going to make some yellow potato salad. We're going to do corn on the cob. We'll barbecue some ribs. And we'll have like some baked beans with sausage, ground up sausage in it. Okay? Some of my favorite stuff that my mom used to make when I was a kid. I find out, the reason my mom has no recipe is because she was never taught how to make these things. She literally just would randomly make shit. She would just randomly make shit. She goes, black people didn't have no goddamn cookbook. What do you expect me to do? That's why I don't have a recipe for nothing, because I had to learn on my own. I just kind of figured it out. And I was like, oh, God damn it. You tell me this now? They are still working on that cookbook, by the way. So I'm like, okay. So I'm sitting there and I'm like, so figure it out. Figure it out. Mac and cheese. Now, I already know how to make baked mac and cheese. There's just a couple of different ways you can do it. And the way that I did it, I added a little bit of diced ham to it just to give it a little bit more flavor. Y'all, the way this house devoured that entire pan of mac and cheese, I've never seen my family go hard at baked mac and cheese like this before. So I was like, okay, so I figured out, and I of course, I measured nothing. I just literally threw shit in a pot and went, God, please make this taste okay. My dad's on the phone laughing at me. He goes, that's pretty much how you do it. I was like, what the fuck? So my parents really never had any recipes. They just were randomly making shit and hoping we would eat it. I'm now that parent, and I'm like, please, dear God, make this taste like food. Make it delicious so that they will eat it. Amen. Well, he answered my prayers that day. I'm not even a religious person, okay? I am not religious. But I will pray to Jesus and be like, hey, look, listen, help a sister out, okay? Could you help a sister out and make sure that the family eats this? Because, of course, you guys know we were having issues with Maggie eating. Now, Maggie is doing great, by the way. For those wondering how she's doing without her meds, she is doing... Oh, sorry, y'all can't see a thing I'm saying. Why didn't y'all say something? Maggie is doing fabulous, by the way, for those folks wondering. So Maggie was taken off of her epilepsy meds. She's been off them now for 2 or 3 weeks. But she's doing great. Her appetite seems to have doubled. So instead of her eating air particles, she's actually eating food. She eats 2 breakfasts, 4 lunches, and dinner at night. So that's great. She's not putting on any weight from the looks of it, but she's eating. So that's a plus in that direction. She's starting to eat more meats, which is great. After her peanut butter incident, she is starting, like, I stopped buying peanut butter by itself, and now they only have goober, so she has no choice than to make a sandwich. And what she was doing was she was making like peanut butter crackers. So she was taking my Ritz crackers that I keep for my rotisserie chicken salad. Which, if you've never had the chicken rotisserie salad, I'm going to go on this high horse again from last year. If you've never had the chicken rotisserie salad from Walmart, you go to Walmart right now and look in their deli section and see wherever they keep like the macaroni and cheese on the hot bar and stuff. Look to see if they have chicken rotisserie salad. You will thank me later. I promise you. You will get addicted to this stuff. It is not very expensive. And it's great for dinners, especially if you do like chips and sandwiches and chips. It's great for lunch if you're, on the go. It's freaking delicious. Just try it. So she was taking the Ritz crackers that I was using for my rotisserie chicken salad and making peanut butter crackers with them. So she would stack them with this much peanut butter. Okay. This much peanut butter, and then these two crackers, and that's what she was making. And then she just decided to eat the rest of the jar on her own with a spoon, I guess. So after that, and her spending at least a few hours in the bathroom, she's decided that she will rather make sandwiches now. So I was like, okay, that's great, because I'm only buying goober, which, if you don't know what goober is when you have the peanut butter and jelly in the jar. That's something that we didn't get a whole lot as a kid, but I loved it. It was a delicacy, I should say, for those of us that grew up poor. You couldn't get it often, but every once in a while your parents would find it somewhere cheap and they would get it for you. Oh my God, it became my favorite thing on the whole world. So I love me some goober. Oh, question of the video, by the way, if you've made it this far in the video, do you keep your ketchup in the fridge or you leave it out? So there's two things to this. One, we were having this debate the other day, and Mr. Coffee was like, why would you want to put cold ketchup on hot fries? And I'm like, but doesn't the container say to refrigerate? I don't remember if it does or not, and I'm not going to pause again to go check. But all I know is that I don't like keeping ketchup in the refrigerator. Or I like keeping it in the refrigerator because it's a condiment, so you put it in the fridge. And he goes, when you see ketchup packets, are they being chilled? And I'm like, well, no, but they're in a package, they're sealed. When it's not sealed, he goes, it's sealed in the bottle. No, sir, it just has a top on it. You have to seal it. It's a condiment. You can't just leave it out. It's going to go bad. And he's like, no, it won't. It gets used up enough that it didn't have a chance to go bad. And I'm like, you see, I don't trust that. So do you guys keep your ketchup in the refrigerator, or do you leave it out like on the counter or something like that? Because I very much put mine, like, I like to put it in the fridge, and then he will take it out because it doesn't belong in the fridge. You know, man things. Anyways, I swear y'all think that me and Mr. Coffee have, like, you know, weird conversations. We do. We fight over stupid stuff like the ketchup being kept in the fridge. So yeah. But I start cooking yesterday. So I streamed a little bit. I got to talk to Jomio for a little bit because he needed to talk to me about something. And I always hate it when somebody says, I need to talk to you later. You can't give me context of what we need to talk about? You mad at me or something? I went around and I found Buck and I was like, Buck, hey, what's going on? Why is Jomio mad at me? He's like, oh God, I don't know. Because I didn't know what he needed to talk to me about, but he wasn't mad. He just needed some information on something. So I was like, all right, bet. Oh, I was getting my 15 places. So yeah. So I talked to Jomio and I was like, okay, let's get cooking. Let's get crack-a-lackin'. Paw called. I got to talk to Paw and listen to him and my mom fuss back and forth. And I'm like, oh, the longevity of marriage. So then I was sitting there and I was like, oh crap. Now, my dad, like most people, wasn't the fondest at first of me going over to Twitch. But then after I explained to him that I'm happier over there, of course, him being my dad, he's happy for me. The problem is he can't afford the $5.99 every month. So I told him about, like, if you have Twitch or Amazon Prime, you can subscribe with Prime and it gives you a free subscription. You just have to link your account, which you just go into your, like when you go onto the main page, when you first open Twitch, top left-hand corner is your profile picture. You tap on it, go to edit or accounts, and it should have something in there about linking Prime, right? So I told him he could do that, but I'm like, hold up, wait a minute. I have lifetime subscriptions. Now, I only get 3 of these, okay? They only give you 3. So because I've made partner, I have 3 people that I can give lifetime subscriptions to. I've only given out 1, and that is now to my dad. I don't think I'm going to give out the other 2 because I don't want anybody else to be salty about it. I might make it a channel point redemption that you can get it. But it's one of those things. So I'm like, okay. Because, of course, I would give it to, like, my mods. You can even give it to bots. So, like, the bots on your channel so that they always have a subscription and people don't have to gift them subscriptions. You can give it to the bots on your channel, or you can, you know, do whatever. Problem is, once you give them out, unless the person dies, you cannot remove it. So if my dad pisses me off or something like that, I can't remove that lifetime subscription. He will forever have a tier 3 lifetime subscription on my channel. So he was excited because now he can come over and watch ad-free and get all the perks of being on a tier 3 sub, which means he gets to have all his little Maggie Pie emotes and everything else. So I got that done yesterday because I've been meaning to do that since I made partner, but you have to have, like, there's criteria you have to meet to get it, and that's the one thing I don't think a lot of people tell you, is that when you hit the partner aspect, there's criteria you have to meet. You have to have so many subscriptions to unlock those lifetime subscriptions. So luckily for me, right now I have 2 unlocked, and the last one I just need like 20 more subs or something like that to unlock that last one. So I was like, all right, bet. Now I saw number 4 just now. Where did I see it? I saw one number 4. There it is. This kit has actually been a lot of fun to work on. It gives you a nice break between the confetti and the color blocking. And then you have the spaces like this that give you a little bit of that confetti that some people crave when they do diamond paintings. This painting is actually coming out really, really good. I wouldn't say that I'm like highly impressed, because Diamond Art Club has never done good quality or anything like that before. I would say that I am not shocked that it's good, like it's turning out so good, but the other part of me is like, God dang, this looks good. The golds from the ABs are really like making it pop for me. So like if you've done this kit before, or any of the Harry Potter crest, especially the ones like this where it's just literally the crest, they are amazing. If you are thinking about getting one, get it. All right, so 3 is the most, and then I have this one here, which is a little hard to see, but I believe it's number 8. It actually looks like it's upside down. Am I seeing 8 and 9? I see one number 9, it looks like. We'll figure it out. So yeah, so anyways, let's go back. So I start cooking, and I'm like, okay, I gotta boil the potatoes and the eggs, but I gotta do that last, because you don't want to make stuff that cooks quickly first, obviously. So I made the baked mac and cheese, and Mr. Coffee kept asking me, did I need help? And I'm like, well, no, you just make the ribs. And so he puts on the pot to boil the ribs. Now, he didn't want to grill them. Like he looked like a sad puppy. He looked like a puppy that you just walk past in a shelter. Okay, he was so sad. And so I'm sitting there, and he's like, you know, I don't want to grill. And I'm like, why? And he's like, I don't want to burn them. And I'm like, he goes, what if I ruin dinner again? And I'm like, oh my God. Now I take it, remember y'all, Mr. Coffee is not a cook. Okay, he can bake, he can't cook. So he can cook like 3 things. And I've been trying to teach him how to cook other things. And I explained to him that he's going to have to get a little bit of that Southern in him. And he's like, I'm not Southern. I'm from New York. I'm like, you about to learn today, buddy. I'm like, there's other ways to cook ribs. So I made him, talk to my dad. And my dad was like, okay, this is what you're going to do, son. You're going to boil these. He's like, boil them? He goes, you're going to boil them. You're going to boil them, and then you're going to put them in the oven, okay? Same thing. You got this. And he's like, oh, okay. So he let Pawpaw give him directions on how to make them and not have them on the grill. You guys, these ribs, they were literally falling off the bone delicious. I was like, oh my God. So he made the ribs, and I had made the baked mac and cheese, the corn on the cob, the potato salad, and the baked beans with the ground up sausage in them. And I'm like, now I'm just missing the candied yams and we'd be straight. And he's like, can we make those? I'm like, I do know how to make those. Like, that's something I do know how to make. Now, as a kid growing up, I used to hate the fact that my mom always made us cook. But now, as an adult, I'm grateful for it because I know how to cook. The problem is, I've been so lazy with cooking because my kids get so picky that I was like, it's almost like I was punishing them and I wouldn't make them my Southern recipes. And now I'm just like, guess who's about to have a bunch of Southern recipes for dinner? Wah, 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 wah. So the kids were like, you know, wow, it smells good down here. And I'm like, let's go. Y'all, when I used to make these recipes before, right, when the kids were younger, they wouldn't eat them. Orion's always ate the baked mac and cheese, but anything else I would make, they wouldn't eat. So I stopped making them. And now that the kids are older, it never dawned on me to try again with the recipes that I know. So I did, and they actually freaking like them now. Even Maggie was fucking covered in barbecue sauce yesterday with potato salad in her hair and making mac and cheese on her face. And she's like, can we have this all the time? Y'all, where I can't make ribs every day. I'm sure that's unhealthy. I am now going to be cooking Southern recipes for my family, and I'm so super excited about this. I get to let them experience at least the cuisine from my culture. And I can't tell you how excited I am about that. So, little back paps for me, little paps on the back there for me. So we ate. Everybody got, like, I was supposed to talk to Shadow after I finished eating, and I'm like, you're gonna have to give me 30 minutes because the way my stomach is set up right now, I need to sit down. I need to lie down. I don't even need to sit down. I need to lie down. Mr. Coffee immediately passed out. Like, he was still at the table, arm on his head, sleep. Okay, like, he got the itis real quick. And if you don't know what the itis is, it's when the food is so good you just pass out. That was like stick to your ribs good. And I know it was good because even Maggie cleared her plate, licking the plate, okay? Everybody had 2 seconds and thirds on almost everything. And by the end of the night, nobody was left hungry. And I was just like, let's freaking go. There was nobody complaining that they didn't like anything. Orion doesn't like potato salad because he doesn't like mayo. So, like, I let him try it, and I didn't tell him what it was. And he immediately was like, no, this is gross. And I was like, okay. So, other than that, everybody else ate everything, right? So I was like, okay. So if nothing else, I know Orion, and I had an idea that Orion wouldn't eat the potato salad, so I was like, okay, whatever. So, yeah. If nothing else, I got him to eat everything else, and he seemed to enjoy everything else, including the baked beans with the ground up sausage in it. Like, it just has, like, ground up, like, maple sausage. It gives it, or not maple, it was mild, because it puts a little bit of a kick into it, so it takes some of the sweetness out of the baked beans. And so everybody was happy for the rest of the night. Like, nobody asked could they get seconds. I don't even think anybody even had dessert, which is great, because I forgot to make the cinnamon rolls that I've been craving for like a week now. I forgot to make those, because I was so busy making everything else. And so I'm going to make those tonight, and we're having, like, there's enough to have leftovers for tonight, so everybody's excited about dinner again, and I'm like, let's freaking go. A meal that everybody will eat and get full and not have to worry about Maggie coming back up an hour later going, I'm hungry. Maggie has a bad habit of, she won't eat all of her dinner, she'll throw it away, and then come back an hour later and go, I'm hungry, because she wants sandwiches. She just wants to eat sandwiches. And I'm like, ma'am, I'm going to need you to eat more than peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, okay? I'm going to need you to eat actual food. So the fact that she ate with no issues, the fact that Orion ate with no issues, Mr. Coffee ate, and everybody was happy and full, and pretty much everybody went and laid down after dinner. I laid down for like 30 minutes, and then I was like, okay, I got to go talk to Shadow. So I talked to Shadow for a little bit, and while I was talking to Shadow, Mr. Coffee was drawing on his tablet, because he can't draw all the time, he says. He's like, I can't draw. He can't draw like stuff he sees in his head. So he, I guess, found a reference of something that he liked, and then he used the reference to draw it. And I was like, okay. And so he proved to everyone, not that anybody asked that or said that he can't draw, but essentially, finally, he's flexing his art muscles a little bit. And I told him, you know, one of Mr. Coffee's dreams has always been to stream on Twitch. Ever since we lived in PA, he always wanted to stream like games and stuff on Twitch. The problem is, Mr. Coffee is not a people person. And so I'm like, the thing is, you have to be a people person to stream. Because if you lack personality, streaming, not going to be fun. So I'm like, he doesn't lack personality. He has personality. The problem is that he lacks confidence in his work. He lacks people skills. He can talk to people he likes, but if somebody were to come in that he doesn't like, he would get himself kicked off Twitch real quick. So I got him thinking about possibly streaming on Twitch. And I'm like, you can stream on the days that I don't. He goes, what days do you stream? And I'm like, on the days that end in Y. And he's like, what? Chick. And I'm like, I'm sorry, I stream a lot, but if you wanted to stream, I could take and not stream as much, and you could stream. And he's like, but what would I stream? And I'm like, art, games, whatever you wanted, you could just stream. Because obviously we're not going to be streaming at the same time. So I'm like, yeah, like, and he would stream more so late night because he's up late. So I'm like, we could make something work. Because one, I'm not changing my hours again. Like, I'm not doing it. But we could make it work where he could stream around the time that he normally would be playing his games and stuff. So he was like, okay, I'll see. And I was like, all right. So talked to him for a little bit, talked to Shadow for a little bit, and then I was like, okay, I'm too exhausted to exist right now, so I'm just gonna lay down and take a little nappy poo. So I went to bed, and as we were going to bed, there was a note on the thing. Now, before we go to bed, Maggie will leave us little notes on the banister by our room, and she left us a note that said that she wanted the dogs to sleep in her room. Now, the problem with this is the dogs are conditioned to sleep in our room. We didn't make it this way. Like, we didn't make it where they have to sleep in our room, and our bedroom door usually is cracked open in case they need to go downstairs to get water or food, because they free feed. So, like, I don't want to keep them in the room all night if they need to go get water or something. So, I went ahead and I was like, okay, I can try this. So I told Daisy to go lay down in Maggie's room. She lays down. The moment I go to lay down in bed, Daisy comes back in the room, and I'm like, well, I tried. Maggie is also on his endeavor to clean her room now, because on Saturday, her little friend asked could she come inside and play. Now, I don't have a problem with the kids' friends coming inside to play. The problem I have is, one, if they do come inside to play, you're not playing in my living room. That's not a thing you're going to do. There's a big-ass TV in there, and though it's mounted to the wall, I'm not going to have you possibly knock it off the wall. So playing in my living room is not going to be a thing. So you're going to need to find somewhere for you to play, which is not going to be my living room. So Maggie said that they could go play upstairs, and I was like, oh, okay, yeah, go play upstairs. The problem was, she was actually embarrassed at the sight of her room. And I was like, got her. Got her. Yo, that room's been clean ever since. That room has been... Did you hear what I said? Alright, sorry about that. Maggie was in the kitchen for the first time for lunch, even though she just ate a few hours ago. Anyways, so because of the fact that she got embarrassed because she didn't want the little girl to see her bedroom, she's been keeping her bedroom clean now, because now she doesn't know when guests are going to come in. And I was like, yeah, that's the part why we tell you to keep your room clean, because you never know when you're going to have friends over. And do you want friends to see how nasty you keep your room and all the dirty clothes you keep everywhere and your towel on the floor and everything else, and they don't have a place to sit and your room smells funny? And she's like, no. I'm like, this is why you keep your room clean. So she's been keeping her room clean ever since. And I'm here for it. I am freaking here for it. Now, she's still working on that bathroom, because for some reason, taking a shower means just throwing everything on the floor and leaving it there. So we're still working on that part. But the actual bedroom itself is clean. So yeah. But that essentially is what's been happening in the coffee house. Just a bunch of craziness. Oh, yeah, and we can't get the dogs to sleep in her room. They won't. Like, we've tried to get them to do that. I also had to put a work order in because the fan in Orion's bedroom, it's making a chirping noise. So Saturday, now every once in a while when it gets super hot in his room because of all the electronics in there, they're not all running at once, but like that computer does produce a lot of heat. So I made sure to turn his ceiling fan on, and I couldn't remember why or what was wrong with it and why he stopped using it. I tried to buy one from Walmart and that just didn't go over well. So I was like, okay, well, I need to figure out something. So I'm like, okay, and I turn it on, and I quickly realized why he stopped using it. It's because whenever it turns, it sounds like a bird chirping. So like, imagine like every 12 seconds you hear a bird chirp. And he thought it was morning time, and he like pops up out of bed and he comes into the room. He's like, Mom, we're late for school. I'm like, dude, 1, it's Saturday. 2, you're out for summer, dude. 3, it's like 3 in the morning, dude. Go back to sleep. And he's like, oh, okay, I heard birds chirping. I'm like, turn the ceiling fan off. He's like, oh, okay. And he goes back to bed. Funny thing is also on Monday morning, Mr. Coffee, I told you his alarm clock woke me up. That's when I ordered all the groceries. Sorry that these stores are all over the place. I ordered the groceries at like 6 a.m. when I woke up. And I also needed creamer, and it literally came in right as I started streaming, which was great because then I still had my coffee for stream. I'm trying to decide if there's supposed to be something right there. Yeah, there's supposed to be a drill right there. Making sure everything's laying down properly. Oh, nope, that's not supposed to go there. That's supposed to be a number 2. But no, Saturday morning, Mr. Coffee also, or Monday morning, Mr. Coffee also woke up and he was trying to go to work. And I'm like, sir, what are you doing? He's like, because he forgot to turn his alarms off. And if he doesn't turn his alarms off and he lets them go, it gives me a headache. Don't mind Daisy growling in the background. Daisy. So he got up and I was like, dude, look, listen, I'm gonna need you to stop what you're doing right now and go back to bed. And he's like, what do you mean? I'm like, it's Monday, it's a holiday, you don't work today, go back to sleep. Yo, one day I will have one night of uninterrupted sleep. But I guess I never told you why I don't have nails on. So as I was putting the mac and cheese into the oven, I had it on oven mitts, and then I went to go, I put it in, and then I forgot to put like the cheese on top. So I pulled the rack out and started putting the cheese on top. Didn't think anything of it. When I went to go push it back inside the oven, 2 of the nails caught fire because I didn't have oven mitts on. So when I went to go push it back in, I don't know what I did, but they didn't catch fire. I'm sorry. They didn't catch fire. They started to melt because of the heat of the oven. And so I had to pull them all off. Doing that messed up my nails really bad. So that's why I'll be taking a break from wearing nails this week. I'm going to let them recover from their injury before I put anything else on. And look at that. We completed a section. So with that said, I guess that's it for me. Thank you guys so much for coming and hanging out with us here at the coffee house for these random rambles and shenanigans. I hope you guys enjoy these. So we will be back, of course, next week with some more random happenings in the coffee house. But until then, you guys, please stay safe out here in these crafty streets. Remember to do what's best for you and to always be kind to others because you never know what somebody else is going through. Be courteous because it's the right thing to do. And always stay cool. And whether I see you next on Twitch or I see you next on YouTube, either way, I'll see you when I see you. Bye, guys.